We are a bunch of wild and crazy Cleveland Browns fans, bring you all the latest in Browns news. Tune in now. Welcome, everybody. It's a Thursday night. It's the Fanatical Elfz Network. We're in-house. We're here. It's Thursday. We love Thursdays. We love talking Cleveland Browns football, all things Cleveland. And we've got a great crew tonight, great contributors here on the Fanatical Elfz Network. Ethan Greenberg, Steve Gill, Sam Britton, Johnny Cleveland, John Suchan, maybe sometimes, I don't know. But we're all here, and we're so excited that you joined us live. Please, if you have comments, you want to interact with us, you want to talk about the schedule tonight, please send us your comments. We are live here on YouTube, Instagram, no, not Instagram, the X, and a few other things. So follow along. Ethan Greenberg and I were on last night with Lou Marconi as we looked at the schedule. And Joel Cade. Joel Cade had his What the Elf Was That show earlier this afternoon, so go back and check that out. But welcome, all of you. Let's start at the top there. Over there, Steve Gill. How are you tonight?
I'm over here, John.
Yes.
I'm doing great. It's a hot, steamy night here in Nashville for May. It's like still 82 degrees outside. Going to get some storms in the morning and storms tomorrow night, and hopefully my dog will sleep well so my wife and I can sleep well.
Well, thank you for that weather report.
You're always welcome. Start the show. To you by.
Yeah, brought to you by Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. They shake the hand of the farmer and support us here on the Fanatical Elfz Network. Thank you very much. Ethan Greenberg, how's the weather?
Oh, you know what? Actually, it's quite pleasant. We've had a bunch of rain here the past couple of days. Yesterday, I thought I was going to see Noah in an ark coming by at some point. But today, actually, a beautiful day. I just went to a fantastic last band concert of the year at the high school.
Oh, those band concerts.
It wasn't horrible. I guess as you get, the kids get older, high school, it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. It's
absolutely, yeah.
It's not bad. And you come out, it was, it's dark already here. But it was warm. It was pleasant. I was like, oh, this is it. This is the weather right here. Save me from 90 plus and humidity, please.
Well, we're glad to have you back, Ethan.
You got it, bud.
Look forward to talking about the NFL schedule here momentarily. Sam Britton, what's the weather like down there in Dallas, Texas?
It was hot. It was 103 yesterday. Well, I don't think it got to 103 here. I think the highest it got was 98, but it did feel very hot. The high was around 100-ish. Yeah, once you surpass 95 degrees, the difference between 95 and 110 really isn't that much. It's just hot and miserable outside, but it's cooled down now, but it's just going to get hotter and hotter as the weeks go by. But we haven't had a whole lot of rain. We got a little bit a few days ago, but it's just going to become dry and hot in the next few weeks.
Well, I'm
there
glad
we go.
You're staying cool. Hopefully you've got good air conditioning there at your house. Yes, Sam, I'm assuming. Yes.
Oh, yes, sorry.
No, okay. So, NFL schedule came out.
Did that come out?
Yes, it did. I know.
Oh,
all those leaks, I know, was bothering Ethan big time earlier in the day, but I know we were talking about that off air. So the NFL schedule's out. The Browns have their schedule. A couple just highlights, and I just want to get we'll just kind of dive into it, maybe your initial takes on everything, and then we can kind of look at the schedule a little bit closer. But no primetime games. They do have a game over in London, England, where they're going to be playing the Minnesota Vikings. They open season against the Cincinnati Bengals. Ethan, let's start with you. What did you see in the schedule that kind of some of the highlights?
All right. First of all, I've made this point ad nauseum. Winners get primetime games, and the Browns are not winners. Show me something. Every time this team gets primetime games, it's because everyone's got it in their heads that they were good last season. They're going to be good this season. Nah. We haven't had two good back-to-back years since like the 80s?
Yeah.
Or something like that. No, I think that talked about it a little bit. The Cincinnati game to open, actually not that bad. I won't know really what to think until we get into training camp. We have an opportunity to see or figure out who's going to be under center, what this offense is going to look like, what the injuries are, and in fact, is Cincinnati even going to come out of this healthy? And then what's going to happen on their side of the ball? We talked about it. Hendrickson, is he going to be playing? Is anybody going to be playing there? And I just found the story that we talked about last night, how they were selling TVs at Paycor Stadium in 2024. I don't know where there it was. Let's see. They were selling. Oh, this was last year, 2024. Selling 200. They sold 200 televisions in their first wave and selling 150 more. You could have gotten a 24 to 39-inch TV. Get this, guys, $30. You don't want to miss it. Get your TV to pay for the players. Now,
so they're having a yard sale?
This was last year. They
had a yard sale?
Joel last night was just he loves to talk about the Bungles.
Yeah, Joel does. But yeah, it was ridiculous. And I think that the Browns, it's going to be a very challenging schedule as it appears. That's what I see. And
okay,
and I'm not worried.
We're going to come back. We'll look at some of these specifics. Sam, what are your first takes just on everything that you see with the schedule?
I mean, looking at the schedule overall, right? You have some good teams, right? You've got your whole division. Who knows what's going on with the Steelers? Bengals could be a great team if they can figure out defense. I already mentioned Steelers. Ravens always are consistently AFC divisional, AFC championship teams or team. And so obviously you're going to have 6 games that are automatically going to be more difficult. Now, of course, a lot can change between week 1 and week 8. And so you still have to take that into account. But I mean, you've got the Lions, who were really good last season. We saw what happened in the playoffs, but you can't. That was a bad game. That happens. I think they're still a good team. You've got teams like the 49ers, who were bad last year, but I think are great teams. Still a good team. I still think they're a good team. They just had an off year. You have, again, the Bills, and then Dolphins can sometimes be really good. Packers are really good. I think you do have a hard schedule. I think it won't be easy, but I do think the NFL is just impossible to predict. It's too hard to tell what's going to happen. And even week 1, we don't know. And so I think you just have to take it a day at a time, look at everything, because injuries will happen. Someone's quarter, the Bengals might be great. I mean, we saw what happened with the Vikings. They went 14-3 last year. No one expected that. No one was expecting the Vikings to be almost competing for the number 1 seed in the NFC. And so much can change in a season that it's going to be hard, but I don't think it's, there's not much past that we can.
Okay. Well, we'll get into some more the weeds of it here in a little bit. Steve, your assessments initially.
First of all, this analysis is brought to you by Mike Brown's Used TV Emporium. Come on down. But anyway, they're such a poverty franchise. I'm sorry. They are. I mean, my God, Joe Burrow's walking around the week of the Super Bowl begging for money. Come on, man, have some more, sir. But anyway, I've got an article that's coming out, my impressions of the schedule tomorrow.
Okay.
Right off the bat, Cincinnati first. I like it. There's traditionally slow starters. They lost to the Patriots game 1 last year. Remember that. They not only lost to them, they looked terrible losing to the Patriots game 1 last year. I don't like there are 2-3 game stretches where the Browns aren't at home. The Detroit, then the London game, even though it's a home game. No, the Detroit, the London game, and then the Steelers.
Yeah.
I don't like that. And plus, at the bye week, I love the bye week, week 9. The Browns asked for it week 9, and they got it week 9. Very nice of the league. But the road game at New England, then they come back road game at the Jets. I don't like that. I like the fact that I don't mind the primetime games. There's a good side and a bad side. There are no short weeks in this schedule. No short weeks. But on the bad side, they also don't have any mini buys. But, you know, it doesn't bother me, no primetime games. It really doesn't.
Well, we get an afternoon game, two late afternoon games in a row.
Yeah, two.
The Raiders and the Ratbirds.
The Ravens and the Raiders. But you know, it doesn't really bother me. I'll wait till, like Ethan said, I'll wait till and Sam said, I'll wait till training camp. You know, you know me, John. I don't do the schedule game. I never have. And I just think it's bad juju. And plus, we don't know who our starting quarterback is, and we actually don't know who it's going to be our 53-man roster. So I will wait till then before I look at this. But you know, there's some good little stretches.
So I brought the schedule up here initially. So people, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, you can see this right now.
Like Sam said, the Steelers we don't even know who their quarterback's going to be. I don't know why everybody's so enthralled with the Dolphins every year. I know they have Tyreek Hill, but
he's getting older. Honestly.
Now that's a home game.
I don't really mind playing the Bills that late in the season. I really don't.
No, I don't either. And I think I talked about that last night, Steve. I did mention that toward the tail end of our conversation. Those stretches there, you get, you know, 2 home games back to back, go to Chicago, come back, and you get 2 more home games. I know those are the late games, and obviously, like the Bills will probably be vying for a spot, probably the Squealers. But, you know, who knows? It's a long season. A lot of things can happen. But I certainly look at that part of the schedule as not. I mean, they're home games, and it'll be colder in November, December. The home schedule, the way I was looking at it, you know, us fans who are going to the games, you get 2 games in the early part of the season at home, warm weather. You go to London, then you don't have another home game until like the first week in November. Is that right? The Dolphins game?
The Dolphins game.
October 19th.
Yeah, and then you don't come back until November, and you play
till the Ravens.
Ratbirds, right?
Yeah, you have a month in between.
Right, and then you get practically and then so there's a real big stress. So fans, you know, if you're looking at going to some home games, you know, it's going to be rocking. That wasn't it 2 years ago that we opened up the season against the Bungles? Was it not that game that Myles Garrett was dancing around and playing games with the Bungles?
Yep.
We opened and closed with them 2 years ago.
And we won that opener, correct? It was rainy
and 21-4-3.
Okay.
Yeah, that sudden rainstorm that just stayed over the stadium.
I was there. I was.
Yeah, you complained about it quite a bit for months. And Joe Burrow started, even though he was hurt, his semi-annual training camp injury that he seems to always have. You know, I also like 5 out of the last 9 games are at home. So, you know, that's nice.
The game against the Vikings in London, Sam, you touched on the Vikings having a great last regular season, going 14-3 or whatnot, and now the Browns are going to play them on a season where the Vikings are going to get there the week before, wherever they're going to play the Squealers first, and then they're going to play the Browns. So they're staying over there for 2 weeks,
which I don't like. Yeah, they're going to get acclimated.
Yeah,
and they're going to get used to it. But they're starting a guy that's never played an NFL down, so we'll see.
Okay,
JJ McCarthy.
Okay, so then now you get the Lions on the road after the Packers game, which, I mean, I think the Bengals game, the Bungles are that's a winnable first home opener again. You got to go on the road and you play the Ratbirds, and I'd rather hit the Ratbirds now early in the year. So I think that's an advantage. Now the Packers, I don't see that as being like I mean, they're the Packers, and we got a home game. I still think we got an opportunity. The Lions, for everything that everybody talks about the Lions, I mean, I know it's an away game, but somebody wasn't it last night, Ethan? Somebody said, "How do you guys like going to New England being 0-4 or whatever?"
Yeah, that was Mike from the UK. Yeah, that was Mike.
Yeah, Lou did not like that take. Has anybody looked? Have any of you, Steve or Sam or Ethan, looked at the other schedules in the AFC North?
I've got them pulled up. I do have.
Yeah, why don't we go through that a little bit?
There you go.
All right, so Baltimore are going to start at Buffalo. So that's not an easy way to start their season. Then they're home to Cleveland, home to the Lions. So, I mean, that's not easy.
Wow.
And they're at Kansas City. I mean, the Browns are their easiest game in the first month, but they have a tough 4 games. You know, that's a tough way to start. And then they go on the road.
Yeah.
Houston and then the Rams.
Wow.
Or no, I'm sorry. They're home to them. I apologize. They are home to Houston and the Rams. So they've got at Buffalo. So they play 4 of their home games in the first 6 weeks of the season. They're not easy games, but they have an opportunity to get a fast start. Certainly being on the road at Buffalo and Kansas City, not going to be good. Do you want me to go past that, or do you want me to, move over to Cincinnati and check their schedule, the early part of it?
Anybody else have any takes on the Ratbirds right now? Because I'd like, Sam, you were talking.
That's a first place schedule. That's what you got to play.
Yeah.
We've got a comment with George Miller. Let's hope we get 8 wins. Okay. That's the over-under right now is what, about 4.5 or 5?
4.5 is what it over. Look, I love Vegas, but I don't love what it's done to the sports world.
Right.
I'm tired of somebody showing me the in-game odds and the in-game this and the out-of-game that and the. I don't care. Just win. I want my team to win. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not betting. I'm too cheap.
Hold on.
All right.
I lost Sam there for a minute. Sorry I covered you up there, Sam.
No, you're good.
We're going to all right, so let's look at the. You have Cincinnati. Ethan?
I do. I've got them all. Cincinnati, obviously, they open at Cleveland. Then we're going to be rooting hard for them in week 2 when they host Jacksonville. They then go on the road to the Vikings.
Yeah.
And week 4 they're at Denver.
Okay.
Then they have a week 10 bye, so they got a long stretch there. They've got then the week 5 they're home to Detroit, travel to Green Bay, and then they get 3 home games in a row, and they're kind of sort of pretty favorable.
Okay,
Home to Pittsburgh, that's going to be usually just division matchup. It's a tough battle for them.
Okay.
Home to the Jets and home to the Bears. So they've got a pretty decent early schedule. Just looking at it on
3 home games early. They get that 3-game stretch early.
Yeah, 7, 8, and 9. Week 7, 8, 9, and then the bye week. So they are on out of the last. Let's see here, 3, 4. Out of the last 8.
What does the latter part of their season look like? The latter.
Well, let's see. Like
we finish against us again.
Right, they're at Buffalo, so they got a tough stretch. Starting the 27th, week 13, at Baltimore, at Buffalo, home to Baltimore, at Miami. Then they're at home to finish the season against Arizona and Cleveland.
Yeah.
So that little stretch there with the Baltimore, that's 3 weeks in a row that are going to be brutal.
Okay.
Well, one thing about I'm just looking at their schedule. One thing when they play at Green Bay on a Sunday at for your Eastern time zone, 4:25, and then they turn around and play Thursday
at 8:15.
4 days later against the Steelers.
Yeah,
that's not going to be too easy. And then before Green Bay, they play the Lions. So they're kind of up and down. Then they got a Monday before the Lions. They got a Monday nighter at Denver. They got a tough early schedule there.
Yeah, they do.
Sam, you seen anything that we're talking about right now that kind of strikes you as interesting as far as the divisional games and how the Browns might, come out of this? Because, I come back to this whole, one of the comments was about, getting 8 wins. I mean, do you see any of, I like you said earlier, you were talking about how the NFL is really pretty unpredictable. You just don't know some years, like San Francisco. You mentioned San Francisco having kind of a down year, but you suspect that they'll be better.
I mean, looking at the Ravens intrigue me. You start with the Bills, right? Bills, very consistent. AFC Championship / divisional round again. Same with the Ravens. Year after year, they should have been into 1 or 2 Super Bowls. The problem has been the Chiefs, which has plagued the entire AFC. Has been the Chiefs. I think the Bills could have been in a Super Bowl or 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, looking at the Bills, so they get the Bills, then the Browns. Browns probably is a win. Then they get the Lions. That's a hard game. Chiefs, another hard game. Ravens are obviously the Texans, which could be difficult depending on how they do.
Where's that game?
Rams have been a very up and up team. I think the Rams have been good. They were competitive against the Commanders.
Is that a home game too for the Rams?
Yeah, that's a home. That's
home game for the Ravens. Those are the 2 home games that I messed that up earlier. But yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, and then you've got, and they could, in theory, let's just say lose to the Bills, beat the Browns, lose to the Lions, and lose to the Chiefs. That's a 1-3 start. I think that could be rough for the Ravens. Now they could start 3-1. You never know. They might just lose to the Chiefs, beat the other 2 teams. But then I look at the Bengals. They have a little bit of an easier one. They just start with the Browns, Jaguars, Vikings could be hard, Broncos could be hard, Lions could be hard. But that could be 2-3, 3-3 when they get the Packers. I mean, they could start 4-4 because then they get Steelers and Jets. 4-4 isn't terrible by week 9. And then just the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers have another quite easy one. It goes Jets. That's an easy win. Seahawks. I think the Steelers could win that. Patriots could be a win. Vikings is hard. Browns is a win. Bengals 50-50. Packers 50-50. And so they could start with only 2 losses, 3 losses. So I think the division could be competitive.
So I saw that the Jets versus the Squealers game is that week 1?
Yep.
A lot of New York. People are anticipating that Aaron Rodgers is still going to end up in Pittsburgh. Thus, the game was set up that way. Is that how you guys see it?
I think Vegas thinks Aaron Rodgers is going to be the quarterback, but what makes that so good? I mean, last time I saw him, the Jets won 5 games last year with him as quarterback. So
his stats weren't horrible. It's a horrible organization. Quite frankly, for all the people that make fun of the Browns.
You can make fun of the Giants, the Browns, the Bengals, for God's sake. Right, you can make fun of them.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets.
I was talking to a colleague today about the Bungles, and like if they didn't have Joe Schmo down there, I mean they're lucky to get him. And then they got it to a Super Bowl. I'll give them that. But outside of that, they haven't done jack squat. So
they have squandered a lot of opportunities with look at their, to get Carson Palmer and not do squat with him.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've had a ton of really good wide receivers. They've really squandered opportunities.
I want to finish up talking about the schedule after the break. I also want to talk about some of the Browns' moves. I know, Steve, you've touched on a couple of moves that the Browns have made late or this earlier part of the week, so I want to get your takes on those things. We'll be right back here on the Fanatical Elfz Network. Hey, thank you for coming back to us here on the Fanatical Elfz Network and the Fanatical Elfz Show. It's Thursday night. We got Steve Gill, Ethan Greenberg, and Samuel Britton in-house. We're so excited. We're talking about this Browns schedule. That's what Browns fans, we get excited about these things. And that's what we do. And there's no embarrassment in that. It's funny. I did this show with Kevin Smith. the other day through with Fans First. Great guy, and he asked me a plethora of questions about being a Browns fan and the perception of, is this organization just dysfunctional? And who do you lay the blame on if you do think that, or are they dysfunctional or not? So it was an interesting conversation. I really, enjoyed talking to him about it. The one interesting take, and I'm going to have Kevin on my Johnny Cleveland show next week. We're going to talk about Kevin Stefanski because Kevin Smith is kind of become a friend of Kevin Stefanski. He got to interview Coach Stefanski earlier before last season. And at the Combine in Indianapolis back in February, he had an opportunity to go to lunch with Kevin Stefanski. And so he was talking to me, and I think I mentioned this to you, Ethan, on last night's show, that, when it came to the drafting, a lot of people have been talking about Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel, the two rookie quarterbacks that the Browns drafted, that Dylan Gabriel was like you've said, we've all said, and Steve, Dylan was on really the top of their leaderboard, and that Stefanski indicated to Kevin Smith, at least back in February, that he was looking for a guy that was accurate, and he was looking for a guy that was a good, quick, good decision maker. And Shedeur Sanders does hit those marks, but that the team wants to see more, like what the decision making really looks like. That I think Stefanski felt a little bit more comfortable with Dylan Gabriel's tape and what he's already done. So the other thing that was interesting, Steve, and I pointed this out last night, and I'll let you guys talk after this, but I thought, Steve, you'd find this interesting if you didn't hear our show last night. Kevin Smith said it was funny. One of the things that Kevin Stefanski mentioned when they were out to lunch at the Combine.
He mentioned me?
No, he did not mention you, but what he mentioned was this idea that all of us analysts and all of us people that are doing podcasts and everybody, all the local affiliates and even national people, they all talk about, what's the strategy and all this stuff. And Stefanski laughed at lunch and said, all these people want to say this, but they themselves, the organization, the coaches, Kevin Stefanski, Tommy Rees, he went to lunch with Tommy Rees as well, that they were still analyzing things. And I know, Steve, you've said this many times when we talk about the draft, that they really didn't know, they were still analyzing data and information, and they did not know. So I think
in February, yeah.
So anywho, so I want to just finish up anything that you want to talk more about on the schedule here before we move any further, and then I want a little conversation about the moves the Browns are making and some of the things that you're excited as we get into this off season. Steve, why don't we start with you?
All right.
The schedule? Finally
got a couple of veteran safeties.
Yeah.
Ironically, they were both drafted in 2017. Kazi is more of a free safety. Wrote an article on these two guys the other day. It came out today. He was asked when he was drafted by the Falcons. Dan Quinn put him exclusively at safety, and the next year he had his best year ever. Had 7 interceptions. I mean, he is more than likely going to compete with Ronnie Hickman for the free safety job. Mm-hmm. And the Jenkins kids. I love this Jenkins guy. I mean, he has played equal snaps at free safety and strong safety. Plus, he played over 600 snaps in the slot. He's only allowed 6 receiving touchdowns in his career. Mm-hmm. This guy is great in coverage. Mm-hmm. He'll slide into that Rodney McLeod spot easily. So I feel a lot better about the safety position. That was my one thing I was worrying about. And I haven't seen their contracts yet. I guarantee you they're going to be veteran minimum. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be identical because, like I said, they came to the league at the same time. But I like it. Good moves. And plus, we got a new 1% owner. Today.
Let's talk about that for a quick second.
Ohio native, Charles Woodson.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
Fremont, Ohio, from what I understand. It was Mr. Football one time, a long time ago.
Yep.
That's okay. So what does this indicate? Anything? Just that he wanted some ownership?
Just wants to make some money.
Okay.
Invest in an NFL franchise. I mean, what's the
he
Browns
played for
worth
the
now?
Steelers, right?
$3
Wasn't he
million
like
or $3 billion? Is that what the Browns are worth? 3.4 billion, I think, something like that. Solid investment,
Yeah.
especially with a new stadium that's going to happen.
Now let's Ethan, Sam, did you guys see that latest information that came out?
Yeah, Ethan and I were talking about it before we came on the air. Ethan, why don't you take this one?
Oh man,
I didn't read the letter, but
I read it.
Okay.
I read it at the band concert. It was quite a tune-up. I'll tell you what, it was quite the intro. No, let me tell you, these guys, that jackass Chris Ronayne pisses me off. What a bunch of dumbasses. They've done nothing there, and they want a political grandstand and try and make it look like they actually care. They don't give a flying rat's patoozie about any of it, and they're out. Get the hell out of here. All right, get out of here.
Yeah.
As the letter said.
Yeah.
Fixing up and renovating the current stadium is not an answer. It's a short-term solution. You're going to be in the same place, if not a worse position, in 15 years from now. Forget it. Just forget it.
Yes.
What a waste of man. Come on. And
so what did they propose? How they're going? They're going to do this, but did they say anything about the monies? Because I know a lot of people that are anti-dome are like, well, we got to pay for half of it.
What are they talking about? What are they talking about?
Right.
No one is paying any new money. No new money. It's all there. It's allocated. Stop with the bull crap. God, what a bunch of idiots.
They're not taking money from anywhere else.
Yeah.
Goodell already went and greased the hands of the down in Columbus of the politicians. So they're going to get their infrastructure money. An owner can't build a stadium and then decide to change an off ramp or an on ramp. That's just not. That's not how it happens.
Right.
It's like here in Nashville, the state gave $500 million because they moved the stadium from one side of a lot to another. But it's right up next to the interstate. So they've got to move some stuff around and, change some exits and stuff like that to make it easier to get in and out. So, and the way they're probably going to play, there'll be a lot of people leaving. So the Titans. So, he'll get his money and the stadium's going to happen. I hate to tell you this. It's going to happen.
Yes.
Okay. It's not a point anymore.
Yeah.
What Cuyahoga County is missing out on is a check. And then now it sounds like they're not going to get it. But they're going to make money anyway. Isn't Brook Park still in Cuyahoga County?
Yes, that's the whole point. That's the whole stupidity. Hey, we're going to spend $8 million on attorneys to fight this for no reason because we're a big bunch of dumbasses. Why don't you spend that on school books for the kids, you jackasses? What a bunch of assholes.
I love it.
Oh man, Sam. With all this news of a new dome stadium coming here to Cleveland, I know you've always wanted to come to Cleveland to a game. Will you look forward to coming to a new dome stadium if they build it? Or
I think
when.
I think
I was watching Field of Dreams, by the way, earlier
stadiums,
today. So, they build that.
I could tell.
I think a lot of stadiums. I think every NFL stadium is fun to go to. There's some lame ones like the Panthers Stadium, maybe, or like some of the Tampa Bay Stadium is not great, but it's not the old Washington Stadium.
They got a pirate ship
there.
that shoots cannons.
FedEx Field, but like Lambeau Field, SoFi, AT&T, just like 20 minutes down the road. That one's great. But I think it would be awesome to go to the stadium. I think in cold weather states, I think cold weather states should have a dome. I think it makes sense. Same with hot weather states. I think Miami could have done one. They have a stadium now. They aren't going to change that. I think Tampa Bay could do with a dome. Louisiana has a dome already. All the Texas, we all have a dome. So does Houston. All these hot weather and cold weather teams could do for a dome. But I think historical fields don't need it. I think Lambeau Field, don't change that to historical. I think some of these fields and snow games I like. I think snow games are the one or two snow games you get are always very fun. And I think a lot of teams should have domes, but I think you got to keep a few teams without them, because at some point you lose that uniqueness of having weather, because everyone's in a climate controlled stadium. And so I do want to go. I think that would be fun, but
Yeah.
it's a few years out.
Now we're looking at what, 2029 season? Is that
2029? Yeah.
And would they do any sort of thing where like they ran out of time and they would like potentially not open the stadium till like 2030?
No.
And then no, you think everything? Okay.
No, they've already cleared off the land. I mean, they've been doing it for over a year.
Yeah. It's an interesting area down there. I was telling Ethan and Lou last night, we stay out there. They have the Rapid right there. So, people can come and go. It's a very easy, 15-minute ride from downtown, from Terminal Tower. And there's just going to be so much that happens. And it's going to really that whole area will just transition into a really cool area. I mean, there's so much that the possibilities are endless. And the other part of this is, I come up from Columbus, and there are many fans in Columbus that will be coming up, and you're shortening the drive for a lot of those fans, which is, not by a lot, but instead of having to drive and find parking or figure out how to take the Rapid, now you're right out there at the outskirts of the city, and, it makes it seem a little bit closer.
And I have question for, you guys, because I guess I haven't looked that closely at it. What is the plan for parking at the new proposed?
Oh, they're going to have a giant. Oh my God.
Okay,
That makes so much money for the owner of the stadium. And Jimmy going to make some money.
And isn't that where the tailgating, won't there probably be designated areas there?
There'll be designated tailgating. D. Haslam has made a point to stress it's going to be easy in, easy out.
Mm-hmm.
That's one main complaint about the stadium down in the lake. It's
a
pain in the ass to get to if you have a car. I mean, when my wife and I would go up for games, we'd always take the train.
Right.
Or we'd stay downtown and walk.
Yeah.
But if we didn't stay downtown, we'd always take the train. I mean, why not?
Right.
It's there.
Yeah. Right.
It's cheap and easy.
Very cheap and easy. There's
he can potentially make about $17 million a year just off of parking.
Interesting.
For games.
Yeah. Wow.
It's all about the cash, John.
Oh, it's all about the money. Show me the money.
Oh, did you watch that movie too?
Not yet, but I'm thinking about. Had any of you, not to change the topic of sports, but basketball? Have anybody out of you been to that Hoosiers arena, the Hoosiers Hickory?
Oh.
It's actually right off of 70. I didn't realize how close it was as you're kind of coming into the Indianapolis area. It's like a hop, skip, and a jump from the highway. So I was thinking the next time.
Been.
Yeah.
I have been to the home of Larry Bird. I stayed in French Lick, Indiana.
Where is that? Outside of Terre Haute, or where?
I don't know. I honestly don't remember. I was traveling on the bus with the Canton Crocodiles. I have no idea. We stayed at some old resort hotel. It was some weird place. I had to walk over to the convenience store. They had some Godfather pizza. It was pretty terrible. We were there to play the DuBois County Dragons.
I have a colleague at work that likes to collect baseball caps, especially like the minor league organizations, baseball, even hockey. So what do you guys think of? Have you seen the new hockey team, the NHL, the Utah
Mammoths?
The Mammoths.
Is it the Mammoths or the Mammoths? Is it the Mammoths?
Yeah.
Mammoth.
That's pretty tight. Pretty tight. I got to be honest.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Utah Mammoth.
Well, let's do some final takes here. We're about 45 minutes. Sam, let's start with you. Anything that I know you got probably another Browns breakdowns coming up in the next week or whatever you got scheduled. But I know this is kind of like your downtime. Now we had kind of the mini, we had the rookie camps. What are you looking forward to? What do you got?
I'm curious about the quarterback battle. If I have to be honest, I want to see where all these quarterbacks are going to go, or not go, but like who's going to take the starting job,
Mhm.
who's going to be the backups. Now, I think the starting job and the backup is a little bit more. I think it's more between Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett for starter backup, kind of in my opinion. I
Mhm.
think the two rookies could have a shot. Like if Shadur pops off in training camp and just looks amazing, he'll get starter. I think same with Dylan Gabriel's. I think if they do great, but I just wonder how the lineup's going to look, how much it's going to change throughout the season, depending on injuries, how well the quarterbacks play, if we're good or not. There's a lot of factors. I think preseason will be a good opportunity for our rookies.
Mhm.
I think if you start them, or maybe you don't have to start them, but put them in mid-quarter or you don't obviously start them for the whole
What
game,
does
but I
our
think that'll be a good
preseason
opportunity.
schedule look like? What's that preseason?
We have
Every-
Carolina at Minnesota, or at Carolina, Philadelphia, and
At Philadelphia, then we end with
Rams. The Rams at home.
Rams. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry,
And
Sam.
they had two
No.
scrimmages involved in, I can't remember which two
the
games.
joint practices with
Okay.
Carolina.
Joint practices, which mean no starters in the exhibition game.
Perfect.
Because that's Stefanski's,
Yeah.
that's what he does.
Okay.
But I'm very interested how the quarterbacks are going to go. I think it'll be
Mhm.
very fun and interesting to see how all the quarterbacks do. I still have the mindset of just let them go wild in training camp. Whoever does the best gets the job.
I get tired. I
I
get
think-
tired, Sam, of these people that follow the Browns or don't follow the Browns very closely. And Sam, they always say, "What are you going to do with 4 quarterbacks? Why do you got 4 quarterbacks?" I'm like, "What are you like?" Like they want to make it seem like the Browns are dysfunctional because of that. And I'm like, "What?" So I don't know. What do you think of that, Sam? People that
Well,
would say that.
I mean, I don't think these people know very much about the NFL, and especially modern NFL with how injured quarterbacks have been getting. It's rare if your starting quarterback makes it through the season, unless you're like Mahomes, Allen, or Mahomes, I guess. But I mean, at some
Lamar
point,
for the
I mean,
first
Browns
time in
went
a
through
couple of
6
years.
in one season. I mean, we've seen what can happen. Now, some of those weren't due to injury. Some of them were just because they weren't performing, and that's a risk you have to, or not a risk. That's a factor you have to take into account. Is that maybe they just aren't very good.
Yeah.
And so, looking at some teams that you get a lot of injuries, you have bad luck. Your quarterback makes a scramble and just gets hit wrong and lands on his elbow, he's out for 6 weeks. Your quarterback drops back, lands on his foot wrong, and tears his Achilles, right?
There's one of the quarterbacks, Shadur.
Yeah, I mean, or they just suck. And so I think you just have to. I think 4 is a good number. I think you should have your starter, a backup, a third string, and a fourth string, maybe as like kind of a very last resort kind of player. But I think 4 quarterbacks is a good idea, especially if you're a team like the Browns that has had a bad history with them.
I love it. I think it's going to be fun, and I think it's something to look forward to. I'm also, me personally, I mentioned this last night, but the 2 new running backs have got me really excited. Junkins and Sampson. I think they really could be. I'm not just saying they could be. I think they are going to be really good. And I know we've been so used to Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. These 2 new young guys are really going to, I think, be inspirational a little bit and kind of get the fan base motivated. I think when we start seeing these guys run in preseason and things, I think it's going to be really exciting. So cool beans, Sam. Thanks. Ethan, what do you got?
All right. So I think 4 quarterbacks to start when we go to training camp is not a bad thing. However, let's watch what happens around the league, possibly New Orleans, that Pickett might be an asset to trade. Okay. One way or another, I mean, we want to have a good season, but okay, this is not my original take.
Okay.
If Pickett plays well, let's say he stays here and plays well, he's going to price himself out of the Browns anyway, right? Joe Flacco is a 1-year rental. We need to know what we have. I am not saying throw Sanders or Gabriel out there just for the sake of throwing them out there. I want them to do well, but
Mhm.
we need to know if we're going to be going into the next year's draft with 2 first-round picks, and if we need to go to the quarterback position. I do want to go back to the run the damn ball, Kevin mentality, and I want to see us. My theory or thought process has been we need to be a ball control offense. We need to take care of it, not turn it over, and actually cause a few turnovers. So I know those are common themes, but especially we don't need to be lighting up the scoreboard per se and going up and down and up and down.
Well, we haven't been.
Right. But if they go back to that rushing offense and just bruise and batter people, get 10 yards at a time.
I'm excited when I heard Kevin Smith talk about his interactions with Kevin Stefanski and had that lunch with him and Tommy Reese as well. And I think probably all of you would agree that the way that he talked about it, I mean, you do get a sense like maybe Stefanski is feeling a little bit freer now away from the whole Watson debacle, and this is going to get back to his, kind of his wheelhouse. And so we should be, maybe we'll see the Stefanski team of old and the playoff run, and maybe it could be.
Yeah, and one other thing I want to see is no more country club training camp. Okay? I want guys practicing.
Have they indicated anything about that, where it's going to just be back in Berea?
Yeah, because they're doing 2 joint practices on the road. At Carolina, at Philadelphia, and then they'll have some time, I think, in Berea. But yeah, thank goodness we're not going.
And it starts later. Doesn't training camp start a week later? I thought it was like August 5th now. It doesn't start in July this year.
I don't know. I'm not aware of.
Okay.
But
is there anything before? Do you guys, any of you? I know. I'll let you finish here, Ethan. Do we have? What's the next thing that the Browns have as a team? Do they have like a mini camp?
Well, they've got rookies and veterans in now.
Right. That's right.
But the media isn't there.
Right. I think they'll get Saturday or something. Steve, is that right?
So they're still they're still practicing
with all the Didn't you see the picture where the 4 quarterbacks are standing in the back and Dylan Gabriel looks like they're like brother? Yeah, it's hilarious.
No. When did that come out?
Like yesterday or something? I think there was
the day before that.
Yeah, something.
That's okay.
I just want no more country club training camp. I want guys competing. I want guys busting their asses out there, and they need to be disciplined. Yeah. We can't have the pre-snap penalties, and that someone at the top has to set the tone, and that in and of itself is going to be very helpful, because if you're a disciplined team and you're not getting stupid penalties, you're probably not turning the ball over, the mental errors. Let's start there. Let's find some simple things to do right, and we'll go from there.
I'm just happy that you've calmed down, Ethan.
My blood pressure is too.
I'm usually the one that goes haywire, right, Steve?
Yes.
I think Ethan has taken my role. That's good.
Well, he's younger than you.
I'm very angry.
All right, Steve.
Can't go through life angry.
Final thoughts on this evening and things that you're
to Ethan's point, something I noticed and something I put on my podcast, and something with the rookie mini camp, and even the guys on Cleveland Browns Daily noticed, was the pace. The pace was extremely quick at the rookie mini camp. Mm-hmm. And I have the feeling you're going to see a totally different training camp from the past, just from that. I also like the fact that they had 56 players at the rookie training camp after Grossi told us, well, they can't do anything. They only got 25 players. That proved you wrong. But anyway, I'm looking
He's sounding more whiny all the time. Anytime I hear those
just go yell at kids in the front yard and get it out. Just let it out, Tony. Yell at a cloud or two.
Well, the whole 850, they're just running out of material. I know you.
Wait a second. Steve, John, I'm pretty sure next month they'll do the ESPN Cleveland block party. You got to come and hang out with Grossi. Have a shot with him. I did.
Oh, I've met him. I met him at a VIP training camp for Brownsbacker president.
Well, no, but
So I've already met him once.
Oh yeah, no. But come up when he's like,
He blocked me, which really doesn't matter. But anyway,
have a shot with him. Times. Talk some golf. I don't golf. Talk some golf.
I don't golf either.
Great.
Too frustrating. Waste of my time. But I'm 67. I haven't got that much time on this earth. I'm not going to do that.
You don't look day over 39. Okay.
Oh God, you could suck up to me all you want to. But anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing if this quick pace continues when the media gets back out there. I don't see why everybody's got to pit one quarterback against the other. If they wear a Browns uniform, I'm rooting for them. I don't care. Do I want Dylan Gabriel to do well? Sure. Do I want Sanders to do well? Sure.
Yeah.
And as for the, Kenny Pickett, I hold on to him as long as humanly possible. Mm-hmm. You got to find out what he is. And hopefully in these exhibition games, we don't see Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett at all. Let the kids play. You got to know what you got. I don't care if it's against third, fourth, fifth guys who are going to be selling insurance as soon as the first cut down day. Get them some reps, get them some actual game experience, and then you know what you've got. So I'm looking forward to the next televised OTA, which I will pay a lot of attention to. But we got a long summer. By the way, training camps usually open mid-July, and that's I've got a website that's 2025 important NFL dates.
Okay.
And
you think the training camp starts in mid-July?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere in mid-July.
I saw something that's I must have. I don't know what I was looking at. So
I don't know either.
All I know is we're not going to Greenbrier. I just watched.
I told you they weren't going to go to Greenbrier. I said that while the season was ending. And they never got back with
Tony Grossi. Those guys at 850 are just like Tony Rizzo and Tony Grossi. Just sometimes they just like, I don't know. And then you throw in Aaron Hammer, Goldhammer. I'm like, just dude, like, what is like? I don't know. Like, I like listening to Emmett Golden and the other guy in the afternoon, Gerard Cherry.
Yep.
I've listened to them for a decade or how since I was in Kansas. I always enjoy them probably the most. So, Sam, thank you very much for being here on this glorious evening. I hope the weather cools down for you there in Dallas, Texas.
It won't. It'll
Sam
get hotter.
Hey, did we mention that Sam's working on his mullet? I don't know if anybody ever heard.
No, we have not mentioned that. It's not exactly mullet. It's more just kind of. I guess it's still technically a mullet, but it's just cutting the whole sides, basically.
Yeah. We thought he was the Jacksonville Jaguars' new GM, but then he put the hat back on.
Oh, that's
Ethan Greenberg, thank you so much. Great stuff going. Nuclear coming on probably here. The best doggone podcast in the land with Heather will be returning at some point here shortly. Steve Gill with his Dog Pound South show on Sunday morning, Sunday afternoons. Appreciate
Sunday
it.
Morning, Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, Fans First Sports. I know Steve writes for them. I think Ethan was thinking about doing that, and and Sam is growing older with us by the day. And when's your 18th birthday? When do you turn 18?
October 13th. I'll be 18.
Oh, it's coming, man. Sam started with us when he was 16, folks. So
been here a while, yeah.
Yes. So
I can't even remember my 18th birthday. For good reasons.
Don't ask me because I'll get angry.
Don't get angry. Don't get angry. All right, guys.
Don't remember my 21st birthday. Whew.
Oh, I remember.
Boy, don't I remember that.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
That was a good one. Oh, boy. See y'all later. Go Brown.
Go Brown.
Go Brown.